A warm welcome on behalf of Oil India Limited, my esteemed colleagues from the media fraternity, both digital, print, social media, and I'm aware that some of our colleagues are also joining us from Northeast, from Guwahati, and from the local media where Oil India's major operation is going on through virtual medium. First of all, I must convey our heartfelt gratitude for the kind of interaction, or I would use the term traction, that we have, not as Oil India, but as the energy company of, or one of the energy company of the government of India, with our media friends. We strongly believe that this interaction helps us to share our thoughts, to share our growth story, to share our successes and not so successful efforts as well. I don't call them as failures, I say not so successful. Being a ENP company, for us, that's a very, very big learning, because everything that we do is riddled with risk, because we are engaged in exploration in far-flung areas, in difficult terrains, and the likelihood of striking hydrocarbon at a depth of 6,000 meter is requiring a huge amount of commitment, domain knowledge, and most importantly, conviction to discover. So in this narrative, support from the media is very, very essential, because we need to have enough of patience till we strike hydrocarbon at these far-reaching depths. So as part of our series of outreach campaign or connect with media, we have heard excellent interactions being held in Guwahati and in Duliajan, where we had reached out to the local people, the local media friends there. Because what we felt, that through this connect only, we would create a kind of positive approach, the kind of local community engagement that Oil India strongly believes, the kind of support that Oil India expects from the locals to pursue our journey of finding hydrocarbon and producing, because that's the core. So with this particular focus in our mind, we had undertaken those media connects. And this is at a broader sense with a big canvas and with the national media. And having completed the AGM last week, it was incumbent upon us to share our thoughts and also to share our carved out strategy, that how we think that Oil India will unfold its trajectory. So before realizing that we have already become a Maharatna, and I must compliment each one of you as a major stakeholder who has contributed immensely, and also the kind of investor traction that Oil India is having, I think a major credit also goes to each one of you. So thanking you once again for giving Oil India the love, the adulation, the acknowledgement, and then the reckoning. We would look forward to have a very free flow discussion, and all of you are welcome. So we will try our best to respond to your queries, your concerns, and your inquisitive questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We believe that through transparency, collaboration, and responsible practices, we can build a better and more sustainable energy future for the generations to come. As we embark on this journey together, I now would like to invite my media friends to ask questions, engage in discussions, and share your insights with us. Before I make the question answer session open, let me request my media friends, including our media friends from Duliajan and Guwahati, to kindly introduce yourself with your name and the name of your media house you represent. We'll take questions one by one and request you to kindly speak in the mic on your turn, please. I'd request my colleagues, Sri Abir and Sri Uday, to assist the proceedings. I would like to also ask my media friends who have joined virtually. Mr. Talukdar, can you hear us and see us? Anyone from the media friends who have joined virtually? Can you hear us and see us?
I can hear you and see.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Rahul Das, can you see and hear us clearly?
Yes.
Can somebody respond? Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, we can
I-
see you.
Sorry?
We can. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank Nishit is here. You're here. Yeah. Thanks, Nishit. Yeah. So we can start the session now. I request friends from the media to start your questions. Abid, please.
Sir, Rakesh from Bloomberg News. So the oil prices have today hit crossed $92 a barrel. So what does it mean for Oil India? And do you think now there is a possibility that the government will further raise the windfall tax on crude? Thank you.
This is on? Yes. Okay. So, see, from an Oil India perspective, we are very keen to keep on our efforts on for production and exploration and production. As far as crude oil prices increases, having benchmarked, and we get our revenue, which is benchmarked with the international crude oil prices. Higher the prices gives us a better revenue. And so it's a welcome thing. But the issue of windfall tax or SAED is already now a very well-structured mechanism is in place. Every fortnight, this is getting announced. So I'm sure as and when such announcement will come, we will comply.
Hi, sir. Sapna here from CNBC. Over here.
Yes.
Hi. Just a small supplement to what has been asked. Apart from the SAD and of course, crude oil going up is good news for the producers. But just generally wanted to ask you in case there are any, any kind of an internal thought process or estimates as to, where can we see the crude going at the moment? Because June, July were very tapered. It was below $75 a barrel. It's above 90 now, and it's slowly inching up, but very steadily. So anything on that, like, where will it be around 100 odd is what the major players are expecting? I know a bit of a difficult question, bit of a crystal ball gazing, but some thoughts on this, please.
No,
Thank you, sir.
am I audible with this mic? I think it's okay. So let me take this question. This is very interesting. First of all, I would not say that it is a good news per se. What I would say is that a delta increase in oil prices enables the operators or the upstream players to invest in high risk exploration efforts. So that is the silver line that gives us an enabler. And you yourself have answered the question. It's a crystal ball gauging. And the way we look at it, whether it drops below 75 or it inches towards 100, Oil India per se with its internal systems and processes is very well protected, is very well assured in terms of our commitments for both exploration portfolio and investment in production portfolio. So we would actually be very well assured of our trajectory.
Mr. Rath, straight here. Down. Yeah, this is Rishi from the Business Line. Overall, if you look at India's crude oil production, it has been going down, I think, at a CAGR of around 3%. What is the scenario right now, and how do you think this can be corrected, or we can, ramp up our crude oil production and gas production?
Okay, it's an excellent question. Actually, let me answer this in a manner. There is a bit of technicalities here. India has got the discoveries of ester years, and the fields, as we all know, are mature fields which we are operating. And the recent discoveries would have, depending on the field size, would have a gestation period of about 5 to 6 years if it is offshore, or 3 to 4 years, or very small fields, even we can keep it into production in 24 hours. So that's the kind of agility. Now, having operating on these mature fields, there are two-pronged strategy on which any oil company would work, and specifically for Oil India, because we are operating fields which was discovered way back in 1950s. The first discovery post-independent was 1953 in Naharkatia, 1956 Moran, and subsequently we have added to our kitty. That time, the discoveries were actually located somewhere at a depth of about 2000 meter, 3000 meter, and younger horizon from a geological point of view. Now, in addition to our effort to enhance production, it was imperative upon us to maintain a healthy reserve replacement ratio, which is 1 normally. So you have to go for deeper horizon. So we discovered the Eocene deposits, which is at a deeper depth, and we continue to look at deeper horizons to add more prospectivity and more production. That's from an exploration point of view. From a production point of view, we undertake a lot of activities through workover operation, because these mature fields, the decline rate on an average is about 10%, 8 to 10%. In some fields, it is even 12%. But if you would have noticed, from Oil India's perspective, last year, our growth was 5.5% in terms of our physical production. That means we negotiated a decline of 10% and still registered 5.5% growth. So the gross is about 15% growth. Now, to counter this decline of pressure, what you do is you undertake varieties of intervention. One is you would create artificial pressure, either through injection of water, through injection of gas. You have enhanced oil recovery practices. You would use low salinity water injection to get the hydrocarbon moving. You would instill actually steam, and that's something which I must share with you. We are successful and probably one of the first of its kind in the globe to inject steam for a continuation of 21 days in our Rajasthan field, where 100 or near 100% pure steam is injected, 360 degrees centigrade for 21 days, and then after that we switch off and the oil starts flowing. So this is one such UR. We are also working on CO2 through immiscible liquid injecting, enhancing UR. We also do acid job so that the grains get cleaned and then oil starts flowing in. We also do hydrofracking. By virtue of hydrofracking, we would actually open the pore spaces. Plus, we push propellant so that the pore spaces remain open and then the hydrocarbon molecules flow. So these are those activities that we do to maintain the production or enhance the production.
Would you agree with such a discourse?
Yes. As part of Oil India's planning also, we have already set out a mission. I think last year also we talked about it, is a mission 4+, where we have a focused approach to certain fields. We are looking at near field exploration opportunities. We are looking at bypass oil opportunities so that we reach a 4+ kind of million metric ton crude oil production and 5 BCM of natural gas production.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please.
So myself, Gautam from ETV News. You might remember during our last interaction, you have informed that you have identified an oil exploration area along this Assam-Nagaland border, and you have also approached the government of India to talk with government of Nagaland. Any progress in that direction, sir, or do you think the Nagaland is posing a challenge in it?
See, challenge. I'll give you a perspective. As an E&P company, our challenges are different than a downstream company. When a downstream company wants to set up a refinery, they would require a large land parcel. So they would identify a location and acquire a large land parcel, create a boundary wall, and then put up their construction facilities. For us, we scout for locations which are prospective in nature by virtue of our studies, by undertaking seismics or any other data acquisition process, identify those locations and then reach out to the local populace, local community and local government at the district level and at the state level. And fortunately, having had an excellent local community engagement, Oil India has been quite successful in getting access to those lands for carrying out exploration first. And if we are successful, you would set up a field development plan. While coming back to the specific of Nagaland, we all know that there is a disputed area between Nagaland and Assam. These are subjects of discussion between two state governments, and we are aware of the development that the central government is also assisting both the state governments to have a common consensus or working out a modality. And I'm sure very soon there will be a kind of path forward, and given the prospectivity of those areas, Oil India will be very, very keen to commence the exploration on an ASAP basis. Yes, please.
Hi, Amar Zadi from PTI. Can you shed some light on your net zero plans? I understand you are advancing it from 2040 to 38. What are the investments and what's the strategy forward? Thank you.
Okay. See, net zero is something what we believe that it is part of our operation. I'll share two, three initiatives. One is, as part of our operation, what happens is lot of associated gas. We flare it as to enhance or maintain the production of crude oil. And in some cases, gases also gets to be flared because there is no evacuation infrastructure. However, with a very active approach, to reduce flaring of natural gas, which contributes in a majorly from an ENP portfolio point of view towards carbon emission, we are laying a pipeline, all our own investment from Arunachal Pradesh to Assam. That's a 80-kilometer pipeline that would actually enable the gas that is produced in Kumchai field in Arunachal Pradesh, which is a very, very prospective area, to bring the gas to our field headquarters where Duliajan. By virtue of coming to Duliajan, the molecules will find its way to the northeast gas grid and to the national gas grid also. So that way, it's an investment and part of operation and drop in flaring. In similar manner, what we are working on and we have already initiated is having compressor stations in the stranded gas fields. So the approach is we would compress the gas, put it in canisters and cater to the CNG or PNG need of the geographical areas. That is the, I'll come back to it. I know that's a very interesting piece. The third is we are also looking at conversion of some pipelines, which is technically possible, statutory compliances allows it, which were initially thought of carrying crude oil would be used to carry natural gas. There is a two-pronged strategy. This is how actually we want to maximize the utilization. Crude oil is something you can actually carry it through Bowsers. And the natural gas needs an evacuation facility. Then, of course, as part of our operation, all our diesel engine will get converted to gas engine. Now, the intent is government's clarion call of enhancing the clean energy portfolio, that's natural gas, from 6.5% to 15%. So in Northeast, we would actually see more of natural gas use, because from a resource point of view also, Northeast has got bountiful resources of natural gas. In addition to this, from an ESG point of view, which is primarily an import substitution, our subsidiary, which is NRL, as all of us you know, we are putting up a 2G ethanol plant, which is about 50 metric ton per annum production. In addition to that, we will also produce acetic acid and furfural rather, and bamboo is the feedstock. And in Northeast, we get plenty of bamboo. So in terms of 2G ethanol, that's also another initiative towards our net zero effort. The third is creating an alternative energy portfolio. We have already signed a collaborative MOU with government of Assam, where 25 megawatt of solar photovoltaic, which is agriculture, it's called agri-photovoltaic. That's on the anvil, and government of Assam has already cleared a cabinet approval of about 620 megawatt. In addition to that, we are also looking at enhancing our solar portfolio in Rajasthan, and we have already signed an MOU with government of Himachal Pradesh to put up some floating solar and solar photovoltaic in upper reaches of Himachal Pradesh. So these are the 4 broad areas that would actually take us closer. In addition to NRL's initiative, we are looking at about 25,000 crore as a matter of investment in our ESG initiative, but it's part of our operation to take us to a net zero of 2040. And you are right, we are now working, how can we prepone it? So possibly by 2038, but we will confirm that.
So
Hello, sir. This is Rituraj from Mint.
Let me just conclude, then we will, yeah.
Oil pipelines that you are wanting to convert to gas, how much amount of gas production would be added by that? How many pipelines are you planning to convert?
We are actually looking at one line. We are working on the modalities. It is in the western asset of Oil India Limited. There is a field called Lakwagaon. And Lakwagaon, we assess that it has got a huge potential. Therefore, we are enhancing or increasing our development drilling in the Lakwagaon field. So once that is done, technically it is possible. We need to have some statutory clearances. Once it is established, we would explore possibility of replicating it. There may not be a requirement because we are also having couple of other projects in our Nadua field, in our Khagorijan field, where the field development program is going on. So it may not be a need, but here, of course, we will definitely experiment.
Sir, we have got a request from our media friend from Guwahati, actually. So, Rituraj, can you just wait for 1 minute?
No, I will take this young lady from here first.
Sure.
Behind you, and then we will go to Guwahati.
Hi, sir. This is Shalini Sharma from PSU Watch. Many congratulations for becoming a
Thank you.
Maharatna company, first of all. I have 2 questions, sir. We've heard that you want to spend rupees 25,000 crore on renewable energy by 2040. So I want to understand, how do you plan to spend that money? What are the segments within the RE sector that you are planning to invest in? And secondly, I believe that under the OALP scheme regime, oil had won close to 30 blocks. So what is the progress on those blocks, sir?
Okay, since it's a continuation of the earlier net zero, I'll first take that question. It is not just RE. What 25,000 crore would involve is a commitment of investment in green hydrogen, a commitment for investment in compressed biogas plant, a commitment for investment in renewable portfolio, primarily solar, a commitment for investment in geothermal energy, a commitment for investment in zero flaring initiatives, our commitment in investment for carbon capture, utilization for EOR and sequestration possibilities, our commitment for 2G ethanol, which is one We are expecting it to get mechanical completed by December 2023, plus additional one more such facility which is under study right now. So it's an array of activities, including the operational changes that we intend to do for changing our diesel fired engine to gas based engine, improving on the field development plan, the gas based field development plan which is lined up. So it's an array of investment portfolio, not just RE. Coming to the second, you are right, the number of OLP blocks today Oil India is having, it's about 29 of them. They are spread. 5 of them is in Jaisalmer Basin, in Bikaner, in Nagaur, that is western part of Rajasthan. 5 blocks of about 15,000 square kilometer is in onshore Mahanadi Basin. 2 blocks are there in Andaman Nicobar, both east and west offshore. 1 block is in Kerala Konkan Basin, which is a category 3 basin. We also have blocks in Tripura. We have 1 block in Nagaland and Assam border. And we have got several such blocks in Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and more specifically, as a part of concerted strategy, we have picked up blocks in the north bank of Brahmaputra River. All the blocks as we speak, as you know, the exploration campaign would primarily involve seismic data acquisition, processing, and interpretation. So majority of them, the API is already done. In some of them, interpretation is in the last stage. As part of this exercise, we have already identified prospective locations. In some of the blocks like Rajasthan, we have already drilled several wells, 4 of them, and a couple of more are planned. In Mahanadi Basin, we have already identified about 6 wells and some more prospectivities are getting assessed. We have already drilled 1 well, and as we speak, we are drilling the 2nd well. In Kerala Konkan and in Andaman Nicobar, we have identified prospective locations, and we have already gone to market to secure services of drilling service providers to carry out drilling. In terms of the frontier basins, that's Assam or Arunachal Pradesh and Tripura, in some of the locations as we speak, we are drilling and we are hopeful to strike.
So,
We'll
sir,
take
we'll-
the question from-
yes, sir, yeah. Mr. Minal Talukdar, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Goswami. Good afternoon, Sir Chairman. My question to you is that is again coming to the oil's own production. The MOU target for 2023-24 is, I believe, is 3.80 MMT, and right now you have 3.32 MMT, which is probably around 14% growth. So what exactly is the strategy? Will it affect the aging field, or is it basically this 3.80? You're talking about 4x, really. Is more of a realistic target, or is it more of an optimistic target? And then the recent privatization of Bordobi, Torajand, and Rajgor, and Uriamguri, which has most probably in secondary recovery stage, and most probably will having a production sharing agreement also. Are these a part of the same strategy, along with the OCS of Mohammadi and now Solia and Sasoli?
See, for us, a target is always aspirational. If a target is not aspirational, then it is not a target. So we would use the term aspiration. And having gone from 3 million to 3.2 last year, as I have just explained, the process takes time to respond. So what we are looking at is couple of things. Number one, year before of 22-23, we had undertaken a drilling of about 38 number. 22-23, we drilled 45 wells. That's a healthy mix of exploratory and production or development wells. This year, in the main producing area, that is Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, we plan to drill about 60 plus wells. Now, when I say 60 plus wells, this was a question my media friends asked in Guwahati also. When I say 60 plus well, that means we need to have of well locations Basis are in-house study and assessment, A. B. A land parcel having access to the land parcel, and C is the prospectivity part of it. So we plan to drill in the current year 60 plus wells in the main producing area. That is one way of enhancing our production. So as you would have noticed, we are going to place, we have already placed letter of award on for two additional drilling rigs. We have extended the current tenure of our engagement of the drilling rigs, and we have also gone to the market to source more drilling rigs to come on board and then do the drilling. And we are also creating a strategy, just to share with you, that normally you would have a plinth, then you do drilling, you would wait there, do the testing, come back, bring in your workover, bring in your early production system. Now there is a mix and match strategy that you have a common plinth, so that you could have an expedited movement of drilling rig and faster movement of bringing in the workover, so that the least time is spent in between the interlocation movements. That is the second piece. The third is, we are now looking at the near field exploration opportunities, which we strongly believe will create more prospectivity and more wells. The fourth, we are also looking at the infield locations within the producing fields. That would be a sure shot production possibility, and that will add. As I was just narrating, the hydrofrac initiative, we have already about to place the letter of award, and that would also come in stream by the Q4 or early next year. That will also add to the kitty. Then, of course, we are hopeful by December, we'll have the gas pipeline getting connected from the Kumchai field to the main producing area. That will add to the kitty. And as we speak, we are also looking at a couple of more additional development wells which will come on stream. As of 5-6 fields that we have identified, you are right, 3 fields we have now given through production enhancement contract. They would start producing. We have identified Lakwa Gaon as one of our focused area, extreme focus. Sesabil, which was a discovery reported in January this year, would also have a couple of more drilling possibilities. Then we are also looking at Bagjan as a potential gas field. As we have discussed earlier, we had a 8-well CSS campaign for our Rajasthan fields. Now we are looking at a 16 number of wells to be taken up for CSS, and there is already a sign of growth or more production from our Rajasthan field. So these are those activities which will actually take us there. Now, I will be able to share with you the precise number after 31st March 2024.
But the privatization of this 4 oil field and the 3 OCs are part of the same 3.82 strategy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Rituraj, you can start your question.
Hello, sir. One question is, are you looking at petrochemicals business maybe under NRL? And also, I may sound repetitive, but is there a breakup for your 25,000 crore investment on net zero, segment-wise breakup?
Okay, first is the petrochemical one. Yes, we have already taken a decision, and you are right. Under the banner of NRL, it's a 360 KTPA polypropylene unit is being built now. As we speak, we are in the process of getting the environmental clearances and all the statutory clearances coming on our way. The land has already been identified. There is a commonality of utilities between the refinery expansion program and then the petrochemical derivative. An investment of about 7,200 crore has been outlined for it. With respect to that 25,000 crore number, some numbers I'll able to share. Let's say that the 2G ethanol space, we are looking at an investment of about 8,000 crore. And then we have identified some numbers, precisely I'll share with you, is for our green hydrogen. On a ballpark way, I can share, let's say for about 2 KTPA, the number is about 200 crore, and we intend to do about 20 KTPA. So you could create a multiplication factor. Why I am saying 2 KTPA 200? Because we have already gone to the market, and 2.4 KTPA, 138 to 150 crore is the order value, which is already started. Then of course, as we would come to know about, we have got a mandate for about 25 CBG plants, so which will have an modular build up from 2 ton per day to about 20 to 30 ton per day. So as we will work out the design considerations, and then the feedstock will have a more definitive number. In terms of a 640 at Assam, 640 megawatt solar power plant in Assam, and 150 megawatt solar power plant in Himachal will also fall into this. So this is a broad horizon that we are looking at right now.
Hello, sir. This side, my name is Prakash Pedashi. In your left,
Yes.
yeah. I work for ET now. Since we have crude linked gas pricing formula now, I would like to know your experience about this so far. Whether are you in a position to realize better value on your investment, and I mean, is this formula working nice for you?
See, I'll tell you, it is very reassuring today. When we have a band of $4 and $6.5, so it's very reassuring because we know that this is a value realization which will definitely happen. And I must share with you the narrative that has been created, that for any new gas that you would discover or produce will also have an benefit of 20% more on top of $6.5. So that also gives us an opportunity to look at more difficult areas for exploration, which is primarily gas bearing. This is our initial study, and also more deeper horizon, because as we look at exploration of deeper horizon and difficult terrain, including offshore, we would require a kind of reassuring rate of return. So this band plus 20% on top of it helps us to take that investment decision. And so since I have said it is reassuring, we are actually looking at enhancing our gas portfolio very, very aggressively, because we are eyeing on that 20% delta, which is above 6.5.
Sir, a question.
My question is, how much in terms of percentage growth you have set production target for oil and gas, the current fiscal or the last fiscal? That is number one. And number two is, as regards mission 4+, the timeline to achieve those targets for oil and gas?
Okay, so we are basically, you all know, we sign an MOU with the government as part of our annual program. So we did last year 3.2, it's known. The current year, the aspirational target is 3.8 million metric ton. And we are looking at mission 4+ by next year. So that's the kind of, so why I say it is aspirational, we will look at stretching ourselves. So all the activities that is getting initiated will fructify in the later part of the year or early next year, which will add on the 3.2 effect. Plus, all the activities would also have an opportunity to add more in the coming year. So that's the plan. So we are looking at year 24-25 for our mission 4+.
So hi, Sukalp from the Indian Express. Just wanted to check if there's any update on the payments that are currently there stuck in Russia from your investments in the Russian projects as part of the Indian consortiums.
I must tell you, the Russian investment has been extremely positive for us. Since these are all producing assets, we have invested about 1 billion US dollar. About 80% of them have been received in terms of dividend, and we see better opportunities in future. As far as the amount which is struck in terms of Oil India, it's about 135 million, 150 million US dollar. But what we see is it's a very temporary phenomena, and we are actually working on at 3-4 different methods, looking at the legal options and looking at the banking channels, looking at the G2G interventions. So, I mean, our concern is not about that $150 million which is struck, which is a temporary phenomena, but we are very, very positive about the returns that we are getting out of these investments.
And so, for overall, how much would be stuck for for all the PSUs, because you're part of a consortium?
Overall will be, Harisji?
About 3 times of ours. So
Okay.
450 million.
So about 450 million.
450 million, that would be for BRPL and IOCL.
All
and
inclusive.
OIL.
All inclusive. All inclusive.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Pranjal from Protein in Time. So I have a question. Basically, first is that you have mentioned in your release that one hydrocarbon discovery was in Sesabil area of Assam. So how you look this as a net zero achievement for this discovery? Number one, and number two, recently Minal Talukdar has asked the question regarding the privatization of 4 oil field and OCS in Assam. So what is the basic? Can you please elaborate on this?
Okay. Immediate clarification, it is not privatization of oil fields. It is a mechanism to create an enabler. Let's look at it from a different perspective. Why government brought in this particular concept of production enhancement contract? The ownership of the field stays with Oil India Limited. We are responsible for its operation. We are responsible for all statutory clearances. It is actually outsourcing the production part by bringing in an investment by another entity, so that enhanced production will add to the kitty of Oil India Limited. But look at from the perspective that this way we are actually creating an ecosystem where we are actually having entities coming into the oil and gas production stream. So while Discovered Small Field was an initiative by Government of India to create that narrative, the production enhancement contract is also an effort towards this. So it is not privatization at all. As of Sesabil, it was discovered as part of our near field exploration strategy. We had discovered Sesabil in the month of January. And I must share with you, in 24 hours, we got the field into production. And we are now, as we speak, we are looking at a couple of more drilling possibilities in that particular field where we would add more production out of it. So we are simultaneously working on the development wells and the field development facility, which is required, field production facility, which is required to produce.
करने के लिए ये थोड़ा सेसाबिल जो प्रोजेक्ट है आप लोग का काफी ये लाभजनक रहेगा.
See, these are two different things. Sesabil is a discovery we have brought into production on stream, and we will enhance our production. Net zero is, as I was telling, including many things, including gas flaring. So we don't, associated gas flaring would continue to be there, but gas flaring which could be contained, which could be monetized, will add to the net zero initiative.
Sir, Rakesh
Yes.
from Bloomberg News. Sir, last time we spoke, you were in talks with, along with ONGC, you were exploring this Talu oils asset in Kenya. So can you provide some update on that?
No updates. Right now, the study is underway and no updates to offer.
Sir, you have given a forecast for your oil and gas production domestically. What about overseas? Are you now planning to focus more in the domestic side rather than the overseas projects?
See, as a upstream oil and gas player, today we have about 60,000 square kilometer of area to be explored within the domestic. Plus, we are also looking at the future OLP rounds. We have acquired one OLP block during the current OLP round. The OLP rounds, which is in the offing, by virtue of the unlocking of the EEZ area on either side of the subcontinent, east coast and west coast. So we will continue to remain focused in domestic exploration and production. However, as part of our overseas portfolio, we would continue to look at suitable opportunities, and that will be more from an India Inc. perspective, where as an India Inc. we would look at some assets. But our primary focus will remain on the domestic exploration and production.
So Siddharth from News Live here.
Yes.
Sir, what is the latest status of the India Renews Gas Grid Limited, and when Northeast people can expect the CNG station in Northeast?
See, I strongly agree with you. Then this is part of the hydrocarbon vision 2030 for Northeast. The Indradhanu gas grid, that's Northeast gas grid. IGGL is the company name, which is under progress. I must tell you, the project is on track. Lot of connectivity, pipeline connectivity has already happened. And if everything goes online, we would have the pipeline. Now, what is more important to understand is that the NEGG will get connected at Guwahati with the national gas grid. So that connection is currently is under progress. As far as it's getting connected to Oil India's fields, the IGGL board has recently approved another feeder line of about 160 kilometers on the north bank of Brahmaputra, where the geographical areas of Oil India is also there, primarily to meet the CGD commitment. And Oil India has also got its CGD commitment in Guwahati. And as we speak, the CNG canisters are being brought in by AGCL from upper part of Assam to cater to the CNG and PNG need of Guwahati. So we have about 7 such geographical areas as part of our CGD commitment. And IGGL once gets connected to Oil India field, plus there is a spool line that is also getting connected from IGGL to DNPL and AGCL line at Numaligarh. So these connectivities would actually create seamless movement of the gas molecules from the upper part of Assam even to Numaligarh. Because you should know that Numaligarh post expansion would also require additional gas. So we will use these IGGL pipeline and DNPL pipeline to carry or supply this gas to NRL.
Sir, one last question from my side. So Russia, as a part of OPEC Plus consortium, has been cutting the oil production. So what has been the impact on your crude output from there? And is it a cause of concern for you? Thank you.
As far as Oil India Limited is concerned, we are in part of upstream. We are not into sourcing of crude oil as of now. That would probably happen once NRL comes into stream, on stream with the expansion. So as of now, absolutely no exposure. We will continue to produce domestically and then supply. As long as we are not importing crude oil, so our exposure is nil right now. No, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sir, we have another question from the media friend from Guwahati, Nishit. Nishit, ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Sir,
afternoon.
I'd like to ask, since you had mentioned about exploring deeper horizons, and the associated problems of environmental clearances in your core area of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. For example, in Bagjan also there are some problems. ERD project has been held back, I think, for the last 3-4 years. So this extended reach drilling, which is probably an essential part in Assam, how do you propose to negotiate these challenges?
It's a very apt question. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Something very interesting happened, and it's a very positive news I will share with you. You have picked up rightly, the extended reach drilling was a constraint, but now Government of India has brought out a circular 12th of September, which gives an exemption of forest clearance for ERD wells. So I thought I'll just check the dates. Now, it's very interesting you have asked this question. We are actually contemplating deeper wells and deeper horizons as part of our exploration strategy. And some of them we will use from a single plinth, an array of wells, say 6 of them or 4 of them, so that we use a common plinth. That's one. Second, through extended reach drilling through a J-bend mechanism, we would actually go below Brahmaputra river at a depth of about 5,000 meters. So we were seriously waiting for this notification, and we were very glad that Government of India has been considerate enough, having got support from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas and DGH. They have laid out a standard operating protocol, but it has been given the support or the guidance what was expected of. So we will now look at ERD wells very soon, and for which we have also now gone to the market for hiring 3,000 horsepower rigs. And as of the environment clearances is concerned, I must tell and acknowledge the support that Oil India gets from the state governments wherever we are operating, whether it is Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Odisha, Rajasthan. Even our team visited Andaman Nicobar this week. So the support or the traction that Oil India is getting in terms of engagement with the local government has been phenomenal. And through all of you, we would like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to the entire stakeholders of Oil India Limited.
So how many ERD wells are you planning?
Currently, we are looking at 6 in number. Manasji?
Thank you.
5 plus 2. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Last year we did about 5,500. Current year we are looking at, on a standalone basis, about 7,500 crore. And consolidated, it's about 13,000, 14,000 crore. 14,000 crore. Means NRL, because NRL expansion is on. So consolidated 14,000 crore. We are looking at something like December 24 to March 2025. Because it has got 2 components, the pipeline, which is Paradip Numaligarh PNCPL line, 1640 kilometers. Yes.
Thank you. Any more questions from the media friends? And anyone from the friends who have joined virtually? Do you have any more questions, please? Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for everyone to be here today and have participated in this press meet. It was an excellent program, exactly 1 hour of interaction, which is very good for engaging for each and every one of you. I must thank my chairman and managing director, Dr. Ranjit.
But Ranjan, I've got something else. Because
absolutely, sir.
Now you have all asked questions. So let me take this opportunity of requesting each one of you because what I realized that the story has to be told in a manner where unless you see for yourself, you would not believe. So we would extend an invitation to each one of you, find a suitable time, and if you want to visit the operations of Oil India Limited, you are welcome. That's number one. Number two, the quantum of these two things are very close to our heart, and we do it not as a matter of mandate, but as a matter of conviction, because the CSR spent of Oil India Limited, and we call it as an investment, is not 2%, which is a mandatory. It's about 4.5 to 5%. But we strongly believe on two things. One is the local community engagement, and second is the skill development initiative that we carry out to create a kind of employability of the local youth. So I would request all of you, including my media friends from Guwahati and Duliajan, also to look at the work that we do for our local community engagement, plus creating sustainable livelihood for the grassroots people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to request media friends, other than questions, if you have got something to talk about, I mean, you can just take 5 minutes more, if at all somebody has got something to talk about. Anyone would like to? No. So I think, sorry, yeah, there is someone, yeah. Please give the mic, Abhi.
Sir, among your net zero plans, there is carbon capture, utilization, and sequestration. Now, as we understand that technology is still in the process of being stabilized, there are no foolproof solutions right now for sequestration. But you have your plans till 2028, 2030. How is the CCUS technology progressing towards stabilization? And what is the quantum of investment that you are thinking to put in it? And have you identified a pilot for it?
Okay, excellent.
It became a question finally.
Excellent question. No, I'm glad. There are very, so there are 2-3 approaches what we are doing. One is what are the possible usage of CO2. So we are, as we speak, we are working on 2 such projects where the CO2 is or will be captured and will be injected to enhance the mobility of hydrocarbon molecules so that the enhanced oil recovery will get supported. That's one part of it. The other part is the natural gas that we produce from our Rajasthan field has got about 25% of CO2. So we have now initiated a study which is called gas sweetening study, where we will strip off the CO2 and nitrogen so that the gross calorific value of the gas will increase, and we will give it to the customers, and that CO2 can be used both for EOR purpose or for sequestration purpose. Now, from a technology perspective, you should, I'm sure you would know, 2-3 approaches are being worked out globally. One, looking at an offshore location where many companies would collaborate and experiment. The prime objective is to contain the injected CO2 so that it is injected at a depth and concealed in a manner it doesn't resurface. So that study is going on. The difficult part of that is carrying the CO2 from the source to the sink. What we are looking at as part of our initiative, since we understand the subsurface dynamics, having been in the business of E&P, we are looking at a closer scenario where the source and the sink are in the proximity. So we have already started our study of shortlisting possible locations or possible fields, both in MPA areas primarily focused on the EOR initiative, where CCU would happen. In Rajasthan basin, we are also exploring the possibility of running a pilot plant where the sequestration part will be experimented. In terms of initial ballpark number, we are looking at about 100 crore as a earmarked fund. It is too difficult to tell you right now what will be the split of capture, carrying it and injecting it. But that study is, as we speak, is on. All these initiatives is a 2 to 3 year, so that we will expect, once we do a pilot, we'll be able to replicate it elsewhere in the country. So 2 to 3 year is a good horizon for this.
Thank you so much. So I must thank our Chairman and Managing Director, Dr. Ranjit Raj, wholeheartedly for being the constant orator in today's program. And I also thank Director of Finance, Director Operations, Director Exploration and Development, and Director HR of our company for gracing the occasion today here. I would also like to thank our acting resident chief executive who have joined virtually from Duliajan, and our Oil India spokesperson who have joined from Duliajan. Also, I request my media friends, all media friends who have joined virtually, and each one of you. Now, I request each one of you to kindly join us over lunch. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.